Hey everybody, welcome back to another installment of Outside the Box Gear with the wealth around us. And me, your host, J.A., also known as Leon, RFPOA. What we've got here today is a big thing I wanted to go outside the box with you with, is repurposing and modifying old junk to make it good junk. Some of these outside the box ideas that I'm working with here have been really, we're trying to stay low cost. We're trying to stay very useful, and we're trying to remain functional. These things got to have more than one purpose. First I want to go off right here is the importance of paracord. That is a big outside the box one, because you can turn, a crap handle on something just terrible. Hello, Chinks. Come here. You can turn something with a completely crap handle into something with a comfortable, good, grippy handle by wrapping it in paracord. And a lot of these people do these paracord wraps. They're very popular. It's utilitarian as well. You can take this paracord off of it and use it for something. Make bow drills out of it. This particular axe, in fact, real cheap, real good, solid, sturdy metal. I've got it razor edged, and has a little shock absorber right there. Fiberglass, pretty much unbreakable handle. It's rock solid, except for the fact that the handle, if you can see right here, these edges really got ate into your hand, and plus when it would get wet, you just slip right off. The paracord handle solves all that, and it gives it a lot more comfortable purchase on the instrument. This right here is one I don't think a lot of survivalists or anybody really even know about. You may have seen this guy from my famous 5 items for zombie apocalypse video that I did, but this is a cane knife. And what it's used for is cutting down sugar cane stuff. Gonna be woody materials about that big around. Hank bought me this as a present because he said that it was probably the best machete he'd ever used for cutting brush and stuff like that. Even a sickle blade, the ones with the big forward swept blade and that are on the end of a big axe handle. He said he has those, and those don't even do nearly as good a job. And as you can hear, I mean, that thing is just, I just was sharpening it last night with a very fine file, and yeah, you could shave with that puppy. It's pretty nasty, but that curved blade lets it bite in a lot like a samurai sword. The concept behind it, that one, it's a smaller surface area spread out gradually as it travels through, and then before it bites better. Plus, it's got a hook for grabbing onto vines or grabbing stuff on the ground, or even for like someone like me, keeping your balance by hooking it around something to pull yourself up with. And again, the paracord handle. This thing had, this is the only thing I don't like about this knife, is it has a terrible handle. Glockwork 9, you guys might know the guy, real nice guy. He bought a cane knife after he saw these, after he saw mine, and we had met one day at Dawson Forest, and I showed it to him, and it's made out of some real heavy, sturdy metal, real good steel. It is Chinese, it is what it is. It was cheap. It was something we found at a hardware store. But that handle is a little bit slippery, but not with that. And when you're using it two-handed, that's exactly what you're looking for. So we took something that otherwise we wouldn't have been too fond of using, which is this and this, and we wound up with stuff that we can and absolutely will use. This thing, as you know, chopping, hammering. It's so sharp you could use it to cut vegetables. There's a lot of different uses for a hatchet. Then we got the cane knife. This is going to be more of your beater machete item. This is, in my opinion, the cane knife is even better than a machete. It's got great heft on it, and like I said, just the compound cutting power of it really beats my other machete. That's why I didn't get the machete out of the FJ to show you, or off of my bug out bag, because really they're nothing compared to this thing. This thing will cut a human head right off. I mean, it might not be the best stabbing weapon, but in a self-defense situation, or say even a bear, I think that's going to make a lot more impression on, say, like a bear or a cougar, or even a rabid raccoon, than, say, a lighter weight flexible machete like the one I keep in the bug out bag and in the truck. And this last guy I want to go over right here, this is an interesting story right here. I've read a lot of bad things about these knives, and I'm just here to set the record straight as far as I go. So some people value my opinion on my show, and I'm going to give it to you. What we have here is Camillus Carnivore. Picked that up at Walmart for around 30 bucks. Got it home and I was real impressed with it, just real impressed with it. And Camillus markets it as a machete. Okay, there's some misnomers about this item that I want to go over. First of all, it's not a machete. It's nowhere near a machete. As you can see, the length is all wrong, the blade shape is all wrong, the tip is all, everything about it is wrong for being a machete. What I feel, and I believe that it was originally designed as, and just for lack of a better word or forethought, this company was like, oh, it's a machete. But it's not a machete. It's not even useful as a machete. What it's useful to me for is the fact that it's to me, it's a bush tool. A lot of people might know what a woodsman's pal is. That is a bush tool. They also call them bush knives. But they're not really knives. I mean, they have an edge on them. But as you can see right here very clearly, I'm never going to commit hara-kiri with this thing because you can't stick it into you. It's blunt on the edge. It's like a chisel tip. Again, we have a very sharp hook for hooking around behind vines and stuff like that, or even taking it like that and using it to cut wire by smacking down on it real hard. This works with any kind of vines, stuff like that. It is very, very, very sharp. Just as sharp as this or that. Half serrated blade for sawing and cutting. It's nice and thick. And believe it or not, I have beat the living piss out of this thing, and it's barely so much as, I mean, I've had it stuck in the fire and messing with logs with it. And as you can see, it's almost completely untouched, and that is no joke. I had been batoning this thing. I made kindling with it at a survival class I was teaching. I let my students use it to dig up wild tubers and onions and stuff like that. I mean, we really put it through its paces that day. Just beat the shit out of it because I had read that it was a piece of crap, and the guy broke down exactly why. Catastrophic failure video. I feel that the big misgiving about this knife is that it is marketed as something it's not. It's not a machete. It's a bush tool. It's a bush knife. I have been around bush knives and things like that since I was a kid, and I haven't owned one in a long time. And when I saw that and I pulled it out of the sheath and I looked at it, I was like, oh, it's a bush knife. Look at that. But if you need a weapon to chop with, saw with, pry, dig, I pried a nail up with that thing, and it barely even did a thing to it. So that's actually some good steel. And I think another part of why people don't like this particular weapon or tool, as you know what I'm going to say, I call them both, but the idea behind the thing is that I think the company had a bad first run of it, because I read good things and I read bad things about it, but a lot of people will cite that is not full tang. The tang only goes to these two bolts right here, and it's, you know, rather thin compared to, I mean, it's not thin, but it's not as wide as the actual blade. It's not a full follow through. But I really don't see no problem with that. As long as we're not trying to crack the handle, I mean, we know that about it. As long as we're not using it to, you know, friggin' cut down trees and shit like that, because that's not what it's for. That's what this is for. And, you know, we're not using it to cut through, you know, pine saplings and stuff like that, because that's what this is for. But if you want something to dig up roots, pry up nails, you know, dig a hole with, cut some rope, cut some serious vines with that serrated edge right there, this is going to be great for you. In places, say, where you don't need something quite as hefty as a machete, like this thing, but you still could use something, you know, to whack down weeds and stuff in front of you. That's exactly what you want to use this for. That's a jungle knife or a bush knife for you. So, I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back shortly with more, and thanks for watching, and always remember, there's a wealth around you. Think outside the box.